From the Great Northwoods to the Rock-Bound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, authorities in Penobscot County are looking into a fatal motorcycle crash that happened in Glenburn. We'll have the latest coming up. Plus, the town of Brooksville is looking to reconstruct their pier as they receive funding to cover those costs. And the Challenger Learning Center hosted an event for kids where they built and launched their own rockets. We'll learn all about that as well. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. And as always, we thank you for joining us. Now for the weather today, it will be partly sunny with highs around 80 degrees. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have a dense fog advisory that is up until 7 a.m. this morning. We have been watching for some dense fog that has been developing throughout the morning period, and that has been knocking down some visibility, actually pretty low in many areas. Bangor and Bar Harbor really lowering things to hardly anything, so definitely be careful if you are traveling this morning. We will see some improvement later on, but in the meantime, radar and satellite showing some clouds passing through, a little bit of rain farther off towards the north, but for now the main focus is the fog that has been developing out there. Other areas though showing calm weather across parts of the northeast, but for us though, we will lose the fog. We will have some clouds passing through today. Later on tonight, those clouds will be moving on out of here. As for the wind, not much of a problem today. A few gusts up to around 10, maybe 15 miles per hour, but then coming up, the wind not much of a problem even moving forward in your Friday. Hourly forecast, we lose the fog, otherwise a partly cloudy sky, temperatures in the 80s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
All right, thank you, Devin. We'll see you a little later on. Well, first this morning, the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office is investigating a fatal motorcycle crash in Glenburn. The Regional Communications Center received an automated crash notification from a cell phone a little before 11:30 on Tuesday night in the area of the Phillips Road. Officials say that when a deputy arrived, he found an unresponsive male in a motorcycle that had crashed into the woods. EMS responded and the person was pronounced dead at the scene. That crash remains under investigation this morning. Well, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents have arrested a Maine fugitive fleeing felony charges. CBP spokesperson Steve Sapp says that officers arrested 41-year-old Thomas Cooley of Ceylon as he attempted to board a flight to Germany with a one-way ticket at a Philadelphia airport. The Somerset County Sheriff's Office had charged Cooley with 2 counts of gross sexual assault, possession of a firearm by a prohibited person, and domestic violence stalking. He now faces additional charges of assault on an officer and refusing to submit to arrest for allegedly pepper spraying the officers who had arrested him at the airport. Well, moving on now, a Florida man is facing OUI and other charges after his erratic and wrong-way driving triggered more than a dozen 911 calls and a police response. Maine State Police say that around 5:30 p.m., dispatch received 14 different 911 calls reporting a box truck driving erratically on I-95 South in Old Town. Troopers, Bangor PD, Orono PD, and they all worked together to locate that vehicle. They say that the truck exited the highway, then re-entered it and crossed the median, driving north in the southbound lanes. It ended up in the Bangor Lowe's parking lot and was said to be driving in circles. Maine State Police say that the vehicle was finally located in the BJ's parking lot, and 36-year-old Julio Matos of Orange City, Florida, was taken into custody without incident. He was charged with criminal OUI, driving to endanger, and failure to notify of motor vehicle accident. Further charges may be filed, and no one was injured on the scene there. Well, in other news, a government oversight committee wants to investigate the circumstances surrounding the murder of a child in Bangor. Court records show that 10-year-old Braxton Smith died in February of 2024 after suffering months of abuse and neglect. And when he died in the hospital, he was only 48 pounds and was bruised, emaciated, and burned. Braxton's cause of death was determined to be blunt force injuries in the setting of battered child syndrome. His father, Joshua Smith, pleaded guilty to depraved indifference murder. His mother, Jem Beam, and grandmother, Misty Latterette, both pleaded guilty to manslaughter. The legislature's Office of Program Evaluation and Government Accountability wants to look into whether DHHS had contact with Braxton's family and if mandatory reporting or homeschooling were factors.
We have gone through 4 of these cases so far, and we've yet to figure out exactly what's happening, why we're still one of the worst states in the nation. And I think we need to do the full investigation on this.
Said that there will be a new governor in Maine and a conversation about who runs the Department of Health and Human Services. He said it's time to do things differently so the children of Maine are protected. A new energy project is slated to come to Lincoln, and several local, state, and federal officials, including the U.S. Energy Secretary, discussed those details. Our Callie Warren shares more.
This former Lincoln paper mill has been vacant since 2014, but with an energy company having its eyes on the site, even folks at the federal level are saying it could bring big economic changes to Maine.
Reliable, affordable, secure energy. U.S.
Energy Secretary Chris Wright headlined an energy affordability briefing in Lincoln Wednesday. Alongside Senator Susan Collins and officials from the Form Energy Company, they discussed plans to bring a new energy solution to the town.
What Form Energy is going to build here, it's a battery, it's energy storage that's matched with the problem.
That power grid problem, according to Wright, concerns Maine's energy reliability in extreme weather situations, such as winter storms. The facility will use iron-based batteries to store and provide clean, domestic-built energy when electric use reaches peak demand.
Right here, on about 50 acres of the Lincoln Technology Park, we're planning an 85-megawatt, 8.5 gigawatt-hour system, enough stored energy to reliably power around 65,000 Maine households, roughly every household in this county.
The project is predicted to bring over 400 career opportunities and 100 construction jobs to Lincoln.
It will make a very positive impact in both affordability and electricity. The economic impact of the investment in the batteries and taxes and lease payments for the town of Lincoln is going to be absolutely beneficial.
Another factory is planned to come to the same location that, according to Burt's, turns wood waste into heating fuel. Construction is expected to begin in 2028. In Lincoln, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, as many coastal towns across Maine continue to grapple with a housing crisis, WVII municipalities are joining forces to address a damaging lack of affordable housing for the hardworking Mainers who keep the towns running. Our Grace Blanchard explains.
Across the coastal communities of Deer Isle and Stonington, the housing market is pushing the local workforce off the island.
We've got to solve this housing issue, and we've got to do it quickly now. We can't take another 10 years to do it because things are changing around us too rapidly.
Research conducted by the community's Joint Interlocal Housing Task Force discovered the island remains short of over 100 units of affordable workforce housing.
There's also just not a lot of availability, and the properties that do become available tend to not align with the price range that matches the income here on the island.
The task force has developed an extensive plan that they hope the newly contracted housing manager, Dan DeBoard, will help bring to life.
I see it more as a coordination effort, as taking advantage of the good work that exists already.
Much of that work is being done by 2 nonprofits. Homeport, which is converting a former island nursing home into housing, and Island Workforce Housing, which has built 22 units.
Our long-term goals are to reinvigorate downtown Stonington during the winter by having more people living in the vicinity, and to reinvigorate Deer Isle Village to the degree it wants to be.
But community leaders say there is still much work that needs to be done.
It's a very busy time in Stonington, but even when it's not a busy time, we want to remain a year-round community. We want our fishermen to be living down by their boats down on the water, and so we've got a lot of work to do.
In Stonington, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, meanwhile, the University of Maine will begin construction of 3D printed neighborhoods meant to serve homeless individuals. Senator Susan Collins announced that UMaine Advanced Structures and Composite Center has received its $4 million congressionally directed spending award that will support the design and production of 9 of the houses in the greater Bangor area in partnership with Penquis. They will be the first homes in Maine constructed from wood sawmill waste and can serve as a model for other communities looking for ways to address homelessness. A statement says that the homes are designed to withstand Maine winters. A prototype on the UMaine Orono campus has done so since it was unveiled in 2022. Senator Collins says, quote, by transforming recycled forest products into durable, energy-efficient homes, this initiative technology could help address our housing shortage, strengthen Maine's forest products industry, and create new jobs across our state, end quote. Well, Maine's fishermen and ocean waters are forever intertwined, and a major construction project in Brooksville aims to keep them that way. Our Doug Banks with that story.
There's been a major step forward towards solving the town of Brooksville's common complication, which is for 2 hours twice a day. The tide at Betsy's Cove Landing drops significantly.
This is actually a pretty mild low tide. On a bigger low tide, it's actually dry. The pier, the boats are all sitting on the mud, and this is the only public access point.
According to Brooksville's Harbor Committee chair, the town recently acquired around $900,000 from the Northern Border Regional Commission to dredge 6 feet out of the cove's floor and extend the current pier.
The final design isn't done, but it'll be 120 to 130 feet long.
The new funding adds to the approximate $250,000 acquired from the Maine DOT and the $500,000 the town has committed to the estimated $1.8 million project.
We hope to get a couple more grants and reduce the amount that the town will have to spend.
Pending a federal environmental review of the project, Shaughnessy projects dredging and pier construction will begin this winter and conclude the following spring. Afterwards, work to replace the boat ramp will begin in the winter of 2027 and conclude in the spring of 2028. Constructing an all-side public pier is expected to provide convenience to the approximate 30 licensed fishermen in town.
Plus, the summer people and stuff will use it a lot, which is great. It's cool. I mean, that's part of the community and the business, and the town makes a lot of money off that.
Shaughnessy hopes the project will also maintain an important industry in the town of Brooksville.
High percentage of people who grow up in Brooksville end up being fishermen, and we're losing our young people, and this is hopefully a way to keep some of our young people here.
In Brooksville, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, the time now is 6:12. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, a reminder that could just be a text away. We'll learn about sending a text to 911 ahead. But first, let's take another look at our forecast. For today, we'll have some increasing clouds with temperatures in the low 80s. Overnight tonight, decreasing clouds with temperatures in the mid-50s. And for tomorrow, nice day ahead, mostly sunny skies with highs around 82. We'll be right back.
Here are the facts about Susan Collins and Medicaid. Susan Collins was the deciding vote to advance Donald Trump's Medicaid cuts.
Susan Collins was the deciding vote to advance the bill.
Now, thousands more Mainers are expected to lose their Medicaid coverage. Hospitals and clinics are shutting down, all to give massive tax breaks for billionaires. Look up the facts yourself and tell Susan Collins to stop voting for Trump's healthcare cuts.
The Piscataquis Valley Fair, an old-time country fair featuring farms, a tractor pull, demolition derby, pig scramble, and more. Fun rides in the Midway, daily and nightly entertainment. The Piscataquis Valley Fair, something for everyone, August 27th through the 30th in Dover Foxcroft.
Let's go.
Tonight,
I'm gonna press my luck! Win the big bucks! Get that money!
a season finale you won't want to miss.
Most intense moment of my life.
That's how we do it here at Press Your Luck.
Press Your Luck, season finale tonight on ABC.
On the Pavement, Sunday, October 4th at the Sea Dog on the Bangor waterfront. Register now at purpleirisfoundation.com or scan the QR code. Start a fundraiser, win prizes. Sign up by September 1st and get a free t-shirt. Goodie bags for the first 200 people to register. Cancer survivors sign up for free. Proceeds support those battling cancer in Maine. Pound the Pavement, sponsored by the Sea Dog, Summit America, Peter and Deb Brontes, Eventful Maine, ABC 7, and Fox 22.
A parasitic disease that once devastated Maine's oyster farms is now spreading through farms in Canada. The disease is not a danger to humans, but the potential impact for Maine oyster farms remains in question. Max Williams reports.
There is a parasitic disease spreading beneath the waters of Canada, wiping out oyster farms. While it's not an immediate concern here in Maine, local oyster farmers are not taking any chances.
10,000 oysters this afternoon. I got a crew out packing right now.
For 40 years now, Smokey McKean has successfully run one of the first oyster farms to exist in Maine. But more than a decade ago, the oysters at his farm took a deadly hit.
We found about anywhere between 50 and 90% mortality.
In 2010, a parasitic disease spread through the Damariscotta River, killing oysters.
It was devastating for a year or two.
The disease, known as multinucleate sphere unknown, or MSX, now spreading rapidly through Canadian oyster farms.
This is a parasite that we have had in Maine for quite some time.
Experts at UMaine say Maine oysters will still test positive for MSX to this day, but say it's still rare for an oyster to get infected.
You almost have to have sort of this perfect storm of really hot, dry, high salinity weather periods in order for us to see even a little bit of it.
They say another major outbreak in Maine is unlikely thanks to several safeguards. Farmers like McKean now use MSX-resistant broodstock, oysters they breed into their farms. Maine also has strict regulations for all oysters, including imports, but even then, scientists don't fully understand the nature of the disease.
It's definitely transferred from oyster to oyster somehow, but we don't know.
And as our oceans warm, the questions grow.
Everything's related, and those warm temperatures, it's hard to predict, what its overall impact will be long term.
And that was Max Williams reporting. Well, in other news, Democratic U.S. Senate nominee Troy Jackson was campaigning in Portland last night. The former Maine Senate president was at Supper Club Cocktail Lounge looking to build support ahead of November. Jackson used the event to draw a contrast with Republican Senator Susan Collins, arguing she is not using her power as chair of the Senate Appropriations Committee to push back on the Trump administration.
Susan Collins won't stop anything being the chair of appropriations. She let ICE have what they wanted. She voted for the tax cuts for Elon Musk. She lets the wars in Iran, all those things you can stop with the power of the purse, which she crows that she has power on, but she doesn't use it because she's not willing to go up against Donald Trump.
Well, Jackson is challenging Collins for the U.S. Senate seat that she has held since 1997. Throughout August, the Maine Public Utilities Commission has been reminding Mainers that texting 911 is an option. But as our Alex Schley tells us, officials say it should only be used in certain instances.
State leaders are reminding Mainers help is just a text away. Texting first responders became available to all Mainers in 2018. However, officials say recent upgrades have expanded the capacity of the system.
Obviously, with all the changes in technology, the next gen 911 system, there's upgrades that allows we can even down the road there's the possibility of getting picture messages, getting video messages that we would be able to receive. So someone on scene might take a video of what's going on, and the dispatcher essentially would almost have a live view of what's happening on scene.
Officials say while texting 911 is a great resource, it should not be used unless calling is not an option.
They need to realize when you text, it's a slower process because it's messaging back and forth between a 911 operator and the person requesting services. So we have questions that we need to ask of the person that's calling so we know where the emergency is. We know who to send, what to send for resources, whether it be police, fire, EMS. So just that text exchange, the messaging back and forth takes more time.
The program has also proven to be useful for members of the deaf community to contact first responders.
Instead of involving a relay service, which again, can delay time, they might be more easily able to text 911 and get that quicker response between us and the caller.
Officials say they've seen more people turning to texting 911, but emphasize if you can call, do. In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The time now is 6:19. After the break, President Trump facing backlash for the new White House helipad amid national debt rising. We'll explain coming up. Plus, more severe storms hitting the Midwest again right after major flooding. Those stories and more straight ahead on Good Morning Maine.
Need a driveway paved or an entire road surfaced? Give Eaton Paving and Excavation a call. Eaton Paving offers a full line of excavation packages, from new home projects to new and replacement septics and driveways. We also install new shoreland and do shoreland repairs. Our operators have more than 75 years combined experience, and we have been delivering quality, professional service for nearly 3 decades. We strive to exceed your expectations. Give us a call today at 207-348-5630 or visit us at eatonpaving.com.
If you've been injured in a motorcycle wreck, call 855-IRON-LAW today. Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers. We protect our own.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes & More has a team of experts trained in pet orthics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or for the hard-to-fit foot, with fashionable and functional footwear from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Teva, Taos, Ufus, and Birkenstocks. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
To the severe weather slamming the Midwest once again, just days after storms and catastrophic flooding killed at least 7 people in Indiana. ABC's Faith Aboobi has more.
Overnight, another round of severe weather slamming the Midwest only a week after deadly storms ripped through the region. In Morton, Illinois, heavy rain turning streets into rivers, leaving drivers stranded. This parking lot inundated with water. A similar scene unfolding in Ohio, west of Columbus, where first responders have been rescuing drivers who were stuck trying to cross flooded roads. And in Muncie, Indiana, a reported tornado touching down. Communities there are still cleaning up from last week's storms that killed 7 people and triggered catastrophic flooding. Now, more heavy rain threatening to make matters worse. More than 70,000 customers in the state were still without power overnight.
They're losing food. Homes are getting warmer. They're worried about loved ones and had to make hard choices to get through the day.
Officials say it could take until next week for power to be restored. The storms moving east today expected to bring heavy rain and possible flash flooding from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York. In the south, a different weather threat: extreme heat. Scorching temperatures and high humidity, making it feel like well over 100 degrees from Texas to the Carolinas. And the heat now turning deadly. 2 children died in separate hot car incidents in Texas and in Utah. Meanwhile, Hawaii still cleaning up after Hurricane Lala's remnants pummeled the state. Now, another potential tropical system taking shape near the islands. Downpours could trigger mudslides and flash flooding in already saturated areas.
Faith Aboobi, ABC News.
Well, now let's get a full look at our forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. The big story this morning is the fog that has developed, which is reducing visibility in many areas. So please be careful if you are traveling. This will be improving as we head throughout the morning period as the sun comes up. Until then, we do have dense fog advisories that are posted for the areas highlighted in the gray, at least through parts of the morning period. But in the meantime, moving forward, the contour is not showing up, but we do have numbers that are showing up. Wave heights at around 2 to 3 feet, and farther out towards sea, around 3 to 5 feet for wave heights at this point. So overall, the wave heights aren't too terrible at this moment. moment in time. Meanwhile, as we check things out on land, again, we're not looking too bad as we do push forward. Again, radar and satellites showing some clouds that are tracking through this morning from the southwest and going toward the north and to the east. So while the clouds aren't too bad, we do have plenty of fog that is out and about. So again, while we are watching that, again, the big story, of course, the fog. We are going to get some more precipitation coming up soon. High pressure being our friend in the meantime. We are going to get some clouds passing through today, mainly during the afternoon and evening time frame. As we head towards tomorrow morning, those clouds do get out of here. And then Friday, a nice one. By Friday night, we're still rather clear out there. And then once we head towards your Saturday, more clouds will be on the way. We do need some rainfall, though. We are in drought across the state with moderate to even severe drought developing across parts of the state. So any rainfall definitely welcomed at this point. So for today, we do lose the fog, increasing clouds today, low 80s for the high, and that west wind at about 5 miles per hour. Later on tonight, we have mid-50s, decreasing clouds, and a light and variable wind. And then for tomorrow, mostly sunny, low 80s for the high, and then that north breeze at about 5 miles per hour. And your extended forecast coming up for your Saturday, mostly cloudy, highs in the upper 70s. And then for your Sunday, showers and thunderstorms, low pressure moves through with highs in the mid-70s. And then for your Monday, showers and thunderstorms continue with highs warming into the lower 80s.
I'm Jim with Lowry Law. I was contacted by a woman who asked me to help one of her friends who had been hurt by a drunk driver. Not only did he have multiple injuries, he had the added stress of being the victim of a crime. We helped make sure that he didn't have to testify or even go to court. That was important to him, so I made it a priority. We got him a $250,000 settlement. If you've been hurt by a drunk driver, call me. I'm your go-to guy.
Hurt by a drunk driver? Call the twos.
30 years living that Washington, D.C. lifestyle. That'll change a person. Getting rich from insider stock trading should be illegal. But Susan Collins doesn't think so. Susan Collins wants to keep it so senators can play the stock market, make millions of dollars doing it. Why we struggle to pay for gas, groceries, health insurance, the basics. For them to get all that money, why we're paying more, it's not right. It's not right. Tell Susan Collins to stop this congressional stock trade.
Make this the summer event at Thornton Brothers in Lincoln. Looking for a truck built to go the distance? Drive home a new Ram truck backed by an available 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Ready for adventure? Check out our selection of new Jeep Gladiators and Wranglers, built for wherever the road or trail takes you. Need room for the whole family? We've got a great selection of new Chrysler Pacifica vans, packed with comfort, versatility, and style. This summer, make the drive, we'll make the deal. Visit Thornton Brothers in Lincoln today.
Family Feud asks, what were they thinking?
Well, you tell your kids they walk in on you making love. They walk in on you making love. Walk in on you making love.
We was playing hide and go seek.
We was playing hide and go seek and he found me.
Thinking about fun? Watch Family Feud.
Old school is just, what is you in here for? Get out.
Weekdays at 9 on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, President Trump is facing criticism for showing off his new White House helipad amid a rising national debt, rising gas prices, and cost of living for everyday Americans. ABC's Karen Waugh is in Washington with the details.
This morning, critics are calling President Trump tone deaf after he spent 40 minutes giving reporters a tour of his new White House helipad.
This is going to look incredible from the air and from every place.
The total of his White House renovations, including the ballroom and other projects, will cost more than $900 million, according to the Washington Post. Unclear how much of that comes from taxpayers.
They can have people go there for cocktails and then walk to the ballroom.
The White House argues the renovations are long overdue. So while the president placed gold coins on the granite and signed a slab engraved with his name, the war in Iran is going into its 7th month. There's concerns about the conditions and morale of troops on Navy ships. And here at home, the national debt just surpassed $40 trillion for the first time, double what it was 10 years ago.
You don't have to pay the bill on the national debt personally, but we are paying the bill as a society and in the cost of living.
Now, a new poll shows Trump's approval rating at a record low of 33%, mostly over dissatisfaction with his handling of the economy. Washington spends roughly $3 billion a day on interest alone. Economist Michael Peterson explains when the government pays higher interest, borrowing costs go up for the average American, meaning consumers are paying more for mortgages, car loans, and credit card bills.
It's an urgent priority, but we actually do know how to fix it, and we have the ability to fix it. So it's just a matter of the political courage and political will to get things started.
Now, as for the White House ballroom, the Supreme Court is pausing most above-ground work starting tomorrow. That's unless the justices step in. Karen Hua, ABC News, Washington.
Well, Kyiv skyline was set ablaze as Russian ballistic missiles struck the Ukrainian capital early on Thursday. The strike killed at least 8 people, left dozens injured, damaged buildings, and left parts of the city without power, authorities said. Kyiv's mayor stated that the people were trapped in one residential building and fires broke out in multiple locations, while non-residential facilities, warehouses, and a children's hospital were all hit. Ukraine's emergency service showed video of servicemen battling a blaze in a building and helping people to escape facilities destroyed overnight. Russia and Ukraine have exchanged attacks almost daily since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022, and diplomatic efforts involving the United States and Europe have so far failed to bring a lasting ceasefire. Now to a deadly crash at an airport in central Pennsylvania. Investigators are headed to the scene after a small plane collided with a police chopper, killing the pilot and injuring 2 state troopers. It happened last night during a training exercise at an airport with no air traffic control. And it comes on the heels of another fatal air disaster involving Americans in Kenya. ABC's Sophie Flay has more.
This morning, an investigation is underway into a deadly mid-air collision at a Pennsylvania airport between a small plane and a state police helicopter.
Carlisle Airport, possibly Trooper 3 involved struck a plane.
In Carlisle, Pennsylvania, the collision killed the plane's pilot during a state police training exercise. Investigators say the helicopter was hovering just feet off the ground when a Cessna coming in to land veered sharply and struck it from behind. The helicopter lost its blades and tail, rolled over, and crashed onto its side. Inside, 2 troopers, initially trapped. One pushed out a window and pulled his bleeding partner to safety. A neighbor mowing grass next door ran to help.
Probably 5 seconds after I turned my back, I heard a huge crash. And as I was just getting on the other side of the runway, the 2 pilots of the helicopter were coming out. They were pulling themselves out.
Both troopers are expected to be okay.
Tonight could have been much worse.
It comes after another deadly crash half a world away in Kenya, where a safari helicopter went down and burst into flames, killing all 7 on board, including 5 Americans. Among the dead, Telemundo executive Jose Suarez and Miami businessman Roger Duarte, a husband and father of 2.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, the Skowhegan State Fair is still in full swing. We'll get a preview as Good Morning Maine continues.
Imagine stepping onto your brand new deck, enjoying all the benefits of your expanded outdoor living space. Hammond Lumber Company can help turn that vision into reality. Visit any of Hammond's expansive showrooms and explore a world of possibilities. The timeless beauty of wood, the resilience of composite, or affordable, durable PVC. Railing options from traditional wood to sleek aluminum and contemporary cable railing. On-site consultation and delivery are available. Get started on your new deck when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
He put his life on the line for his country. Senator Susan Collins isn't forgetting him or any of our veterans. She's delivered millions in federal funding to improve housing for veterans across Maine and provide housing vouchers to make sure Maine veterans have a place to call home. She's also worked tirelessly to provide the quality mental health care our veterans deserve. Call and tell Senator Collins to keep fighting for our veterans.
First, it was Graham Plattner's problems with women.
And now, Troy Jackson.
According to a police report, Troy Jackson kicked down a door, punched a man in the face, and pushed his ex-girlfriend. As state Senate president, there are multiple reports of Jackson yelling and screaming at women. Jackson even threw a water bottle at one woman.
Make no mistake, this is an attempt to intimidate and control women.
Maine deserves better than Troy Jackson.
Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I got hurt in this accident, and the insurance company isn't offering me nearly enough money.
If you've been hurt, you deserve to be free from your car accident problems, free from dealing with the insurance company, and free from your financial struggles. Call the twos. It's free.
I made a free call to Lowry Law, and they got me $275,000. The twos set me free.
I'm your go-to guy.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Youth interested in STEM built and launched their own rockets on Wednesday at an event held by the Challenger Learning Center of Maine. Kids of all ages got hands-on STEM experience at Challenger Learning Center's Blast Off Bash. Held at the Coal Transportation Museum, participants got to build their own rockets, launch them, and learn about rocket science, all while having a lot of fun. This is the first year the Challenger Learning Center of Maine has held an event like this, and they hope that the Blast Off Bash will inspire the next generation of STEM professionals.
A rocket launch is just this really great event where you can see and hear and feel an amazing launch opportunity. And students with their families get to build it from scratch, hear the kits and all the pieces and parts, and they will feel empowered to build it and launch it all in the same day. And we hope that it's really a spark saying, hey, I did this well, I think I like this. And so it's just one more opportunity to get them excited about STEM.
Well, those who are unable to make the event will still be able to take part in the Blast Off Bash during the second day of the event, which is on Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon. Looks like a lot of fun. Well, now let's turn things right back over to meteorologist Evan Biggs.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have a dense fog advisory that is up until 7 a.m. this morning. We have been watching for some dense fog that has been developing throughout the morning period, and that has been knocking down some visibility, actually pretty low in many areas. Bangor and Bar Harbor really lowering things to hardly anything, so definitely be careful if you are traveling this morning. We will see some improvement later on, but in the meantime, radar and satellite showing some clouds passing through, a little bit of rain farther off towards the north, but for now the main focus is the fog that has been developing out there. Other areas though showing calm weather across parts of the northeast, but for us though, we will lose the fog. We will have some clouds passing through today. Later on tonight, those clouds will be moving on out of here. As for the wind, not much of a problem today. A few gusts up to around 10, maybe 15 miles per hour. But then coming up, the wind, not much of a problem, even moving forward into your Friday. Hourly forecast, we lose the fog. Otherwise, a partly cloudy sky, temperatures in the 80s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
All right, thank you, Devin. Well, Wednesday marked day number 7 of the iconic Skowhegan State Fair, and attendees still have plenty of activities to enjoy. Our Sam Miller says that excitement was in the air.
The Skowhegan State Fair is in full swing, and attendees of all ages flock to the fairground to celebrate 208 years of the oldest consecutive agricultural fair in the United States. The fair began on Thursday, August 13th, with each day bringing new and exciting activities for people to enjoy. On top of the numerous rides and games that put their livestock front and center. Farmers showcased their sheep to be judged on ballast and breed characteristics. And across the way, horses displayed raw pulling power by hauling nearly 10,000 total pounds of concrete. Fairground employees say seeing waves of people come in and experience everything the fair has to offer makes every second worth it.
They've all been great, really nice. I've seen a lot more people than I've ever seen in my life, but it's been a great fair. I love this fair.
Amongst all of the rides, food, and livestock, attendees say the most thrilling moments of all are made with the people closest in your life.
We're just hanging out, having fun at the fair. It's a good time, and especially here in Skowhegan, because I got friends in Mercer and Norridge, and it's in between everybody.
Even after 200 years, the fair continues to be a staple in the state, and everyone who attends can never get enough. In Skowhegan, Sam Miller, ABC 7, Fox 22 News.
Well, that's awesome, Sam. Still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports. Don't go away.
As Senate President, Troy Jackson counted votes, and his son counted cash. Jackson's lobbyist son raked in almost $200,000 from special interests, and Jackson flipped his positions. One polluter wanted to stop a bill cracking down on emissions, so they paid Jackson's son, and with Jackson in charge, the bill went up in smoke. Troy Jackson's family got paid. We got played. Coincidence or corruption? You decide. SLF PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Still getting glitched by cable internet? Enough already. Fidium is 100% fiber internet. Ultra reliable. Lightning fast. So everything you do online works exactly like it should.
Zach, go to bed.
Fiber up to Fidium.
Get plans starting at only $30 a month at shopfidium.com.
Honey, where's the countertop?
I sent it out to the granite shop this morning to be replaced.
Wow. The quickest turnaround in the business. The Granite Shop in Sedgwick.
Saturday night, preseason football is back. The Philadelphia Eagles take on the New England Patriots. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Saturday night on ABC 7.
Welcome back in, folks. The high school soccer season is almost here, and the Ellsworth girls soccer team has a new coach.
I just know that we're in good hands, and I know that we're with someone that really enjoys soccer and just wants to help us get better.
The high school soccer season is just around the corner, and for every team, a new season means new changes. The Ellsworth girls soccer team is no different, as Addie Lastly steps in as the Eagles' brand new head coach.
And I'm so excited to come back, and it kind of fills the void a little bit. I've been playing soccer since I was 4 years old.
While she may be new to coaching, Lastly is not new to Ellsworth. She played all 4 years of high school as a member of the Eagles, which largely played a part in her return home in a new role.
When Eric announced his resignation, I texted him like, oh my gosh, I'm so sad you're leaving. We always joked when I graduated that his last year was gonna be the year that I was ready to take the team. I really wanted to coach this school that I grew up in and graduated from.
After graduating from Husson University and following a successful collegiate career, Lastly's experience at the next level is one of the traits that makes her a great fit for the Eagles.
Obviously, being fresh from college, a little bit more experience and some recent experience. And I think because I've been playing for so long, I know a lot about the game.
She definitely knows what she's doing. She definitely knows a lot of good drills for us to do. She definitely has a lot of experience to get us to win those games.
Another great attribute that lands with her in Ellsworth, her competitiveness.
I'm the most competitive person I know. I think I'm not even allowed to play board games with my family. I want to win, and I'm hoping that I can influence the girls to be the same.
As a young coach adapting to her new role, there are things Lastly is focusing on getting better at early on.
Being loud and having a voice and being confident is probably what I've been working on.
But the players will tell you she's already done that.
She definitely leads with her head, sort of she's very confident.
The new season looms, and the Eagles will set out to try and win their first ever state title. For Lastly, the idea of that possibility is something she can't even fully put into words.
I would probably freak out if we won a state championship my first year, obviously. It would be hard to follow.
In Ellsworth, Max Sturm, ABC 7 and Fox 22 Sports.
Thank you for that, Max. Cooper Flagg is excited about year 2 with the Mavericks.
less than a year removed from the start of his rookie year, and things look a lot different in Dallas. As of now, he will have veteran star Kyrie Irving by his side. Anthony Davis has been shipped to Washington, and he has a new coach in Dusty May. Here's Flag on year 2.
Yeah, I'm really excited. You know, I've been able to spend some time with Dusty and get on the court and work out with the new staff. So I'm very excited. Looking forward in the future and just continue to get better. New beginning for us, a new start, only 2 games. So just looking forward to showing improvement. Staying healthy, getting guys healthy. Obviously, Kyrie's going to help a lot. Got some new faces. So it's really exciting just going into this new year with a fresh slate and just showing that we've improved and got better.
I think we're all excited to see what Flag does this year. He comes to Boston on November 15th. That is a Sunday. Patriots hosting the Eagles for a pair of joint practices this week ahead of their preseason game at Gillette on Saturday. Patriots defense picking off Jalen Hurts 3 times in the practice on Wednesday. A.J. Brown also got his first reps against his old team, and when asked about his tenure in Philly, he said he's living in the moment.
It was just work. It was just work, man. Same old meetings that we've been having, same attention to detail. I'm preparing, getting ready for practice, and just coming out here and just focusing on myself each and every rep.
We'll wrap things up with the Sox looking to sweep the Diamondbacks down at Fenway Park on Wednesday. Bottom of the first pitch the Red Sox face all game, and Nick Sogard puts it into the bullpen. Look at all-star Corbin Carroll. He runs straight into the wall as the Sox take a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the 3rd we go. Jarren Duran is going to follow Sogard's lead. He takes a shot that also lands in the same exact bullpen. Carroll almost hits the wall again. 2-0 Sox. Sox down 3-2 now. Newbar with a runner on second. He crushes this one from Weissert. He extends the lead to 5-2, but the bottom 6, it's the character from Popeye, Mickey Gasper. He's got more old-time magic up his sleeve. He knocks a 3-run shot over the right field wall. This one's tied at 5 in extras. Nolan Arenado slices a blooper into shallow left field to make it 6-5. That score would stand. D-backs avoid the sweep with the win. Tough one for the Sox there in extras. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Make your outdoor living space dreams come true with a little help from Granville Stone and Hearth. Granville can help you go from this to this. Outdoor fireplaces, custom outdoor kitchens, gorgeous stone patios, and more. You bring the dreams, we'll supply the materials to make it all real. Create your stunning outdoor oasis with help from the experts at Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
Fire, water, storm damage, and even mold. We take care of you from cleanup to construction 24/7. When disaster strikes, tell your insurance company you want Penobscot Cleaning Services.
Augusta politician Troy Jackson. While his family cashed in, you paid the price. As state Senate president, he voted repeatedly for higher taxes. Troy Jackson voted to allow cities and towns to drastically raise your property taxes, hurting our seniors and working families the most. And Jackson supports raising taxes on your Social Security, making Mainers pay more while his family cashed in. We can't afford Troy Jackson in the Senate. Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Welcome back, everyone. Piggybacking off of our sports segment, victory in a land called fantasy is what every fantasy football fan aspires to reach. But it's not easy. And what happens if you come in last? Well, that's where the fun begins. Folks can get quite creative with what they call last place punishments. Here's ABC's Danny New.
My husband doing a fantasy football punishment.
Why is Chicago's John Lesky here dressed up as Eric Carl's The Very Hungry Caterpillar? Because once again, before the start of the NFL season, fantasy football players are finally serving their punishments for coming in last place last year.
I was actually kind of impressed by the end of it. I'm like, I would have tapped out really fast. So
overall you're proud of your husband?
I was pretty impressed.
There are millions of fantasy football leagues around the world, and the quest to generate the most unique last-place punishment has become a bit of an annual internet tradition. In John's case, his league is mostly friends and family, so he made sure to at least FaceTime with his league mates' children, including his nephew.
And they were like, they haven't sat still for that long in like a month.
Playing Michael Brook today, no ball.
Meanwhile, in Canada, Connor Merritt here is in a league with all of his old hockey buddies, and his punishment was to go golfing without a ball and not tell anyone he joined why he didn't have one.
I go put my tee in the ground with no ball on it and swing, and I turn back, I go, that was a good one, and then he looks at me dead serious, and he goes, how do you know?
There's also a chance you could be locked in a closet and have to do a 1,000-piece baked bean puzzle, or you might have to be like Ty in South Florida here, who had to compete in a bodybuilding competition.
I had no idea what I was doing. I was just hitting poses that I kind of saw them do.
In the case of Ty and his buddy Tommy, they have been in this league together since high school, and perhaps the best part is Ty was the one who thought of this idea before the start of last season. So in preparation, Ty shaved his body hair, got a spray tan, and over the course of many months, even lost 30 pounds. But why did he go through so much effort?
That's what makes fantasy football.
By the way, Ty says that bodybuilding video has led to two things at work. One, his boss giving him a raise for showing strong character. And two, his boss making a life-size cutout of Ty to hang in the office. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Definitely some creative punishments there. Well, now here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. The big story this morning is the fog that has developed, which is reducing visibility in many areas. So please be careful if you are traveling. This will be improving as we head throughout the morning period as the sun comes up. Until then, we do have dense fog advisories that are posted for the areas highlighted in the gray, at least through parts of the morning period. But in the meantime, moving forward, the contour is not showing up, but we do have numbers that are showing up. Wave heights at around 2 to 3 feet, and farther out towards sea, around 3 to 5 feet for wave heights at this point. So overall, the wave heights aren't too terrible at this moment in time. Meanwhile, as we check things out on land, again, we're not looking too bad as we do push forward. Again, radar and satellite showing some clouds that are tracking through this morning from the southwest and going toward the north and to the east. So while the clouds aren't too bad, we do have plenty of fog that is out and about. So again, while we are watching that, again, the big story, of course, the fog. We are going to get some more precipitation coming up soon. High pressure being our friend in the meantime. We are going to get some clouds passing through today, mainly during the afternoon and evening time frame. As we head towards tomorrow morning, those clouds do get out of here. And then Friday, a nice one. By Friday night, we're still rather clear out there. And then once we head towards your Saturday, more clouds will be on the way. We do need some rainfall, though. We are in drought across the state with moderate to even severe drought developing across parts of the state. So any rainfall definitely welcomed at this point. So for today, we do lose the fog, increasing clouds today, low 80s for the high, and that west wind at about 5 miles per hour. Later on tonight, we have mid-50s, decreasing clouds, and a light and variable wind. And then for tomorrow, mostly sunny, low 80s for the high, and then that north breeze at about 5 miles per hour. And your extended forecast coming up for your Saturday, mostly cloudy, highs in the upper 70s. And then for your Sunday, showers and thunderstorms, low pressure moves through with highs in the mid 70s. And then for your Monday, showers and thunderstorms continue with highs warming into the lower 80s.
Hello, this is George Whelan, founder of Down East Direct Cremation. Over the years, you have come to trust Down East Direct Cremation as your cremation experts, creating the standard for simple, affordable, and respectful cremation care. Through these times of turbulent economy, COVID, rising energy costs, and inflation, Down East Direct Cremation has maintained our price. Unfortunately, Due to the ever-increasing cost of doing business, I have been left with no other choice than to raise our price, effective September 8th, 2026. I am sorry. Of course, all current guaranteed mortuary trust agreements will be honored with no additional charges. You or anyone who is thinking of prepaying with Downeast Direct Cremation will have until then to lock in our current price of $975 complete. For more information or to schedule an in-store appointment, please call us or prepay online using the button exclusively at DowneastDirectCremation.com.
The Piscataquis Valley Fair, an old-time country fair featuring farms, a tractor pull, demolition derby, pig scramble, and more. Fun rides in the Midway, daily and nightly entertainment. The Piscataquis Valley Fair, something for everyone, August 27th through the 30th in Dover Foxcroft.
Here are the facts about Susan Collins and Medicaid. Susan Collins was the deciding vote to advance Donald Trump's Medicaid cuts.
Susan Collins was the deciding vote to advance the bill.
Now, thousands more Mainers are expected to lose their Medicaid coverage. Hospitals and clinics are shutting down, all to give massive tax breaks for billionaires. Look up the facts yourself and tell Susan Collins to stop voting for Trump's healthcare cuts.
The countdown to the Super Bowl is on, and GMA's road to the big game runs through all 32 teams. Now this morning, we're live in Houston with the Texans.
Hey, America, it's time for a Texas takeover.
With a Texas-sized surprise, only on.
Good morning, America.
There's a penguin baby boom at the Tennessee Aquarium. 2 sets of penguin parents welcoming their chicks this summer. The staff says that both of them are doing quite well. The oldest was born in June and has grown from 3.5 ounces to 6 pounds. According to the Tennessee Aquarium, a few weeks can make a world of difference for young penguins who must grow up fast to survive the harsh conditions on their native Antarctic islands. At 1 month old, the latest chick is hefty but still covered in layers of soft, fluffy down fur. And meanwhile, the season's first chick, the one that was born first, which hatched just 22 days earlier on June 25th, is already nearly as large as its parents and beginning to develop its waterproof feathers. Each chick will join the colony at 70 days old after passing a very important swim test. How cute is that? Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22. Have a great day, everyone.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless.
Senator Susan Collins isn't forgetting him or any of our veterans. She's delivered millions in federal funding to improve housing for veterans across Maine and provide housing vouchers to make sure Maine veterans have a place to call home. She's also worked tirelessly to provide the quality mental health care our veterans deserve. Call and tell Senator Collins to keep fighting for our veterans.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's 35th anniversary.
A lot has changed since we opened in 1991, but we still do things the Bob's way.
That means everyday low prices on the latest styles
with financing to fit any budget.
And we still make furniture shopping fun with free treats
and ice cream.
So dare to compare at Bob's and come celebrate our 35th with us this Labor Day weekend.
Time to party like it's 1991. Oh my God.
Let your creativity run free at the Creative Arts Center, where we offer fun and affordable activities for all ages. Birthday parties, pottery wheel classes, painting lessons, or just for the fun of it. Get fired up for glazing projects as well as acrylics. We offer a wide selection of ceramic products for you to choose from, and we have thousands of pieces ready to paint. We are a Paragon kiln dealer and a Laguna Clay distributor. Stop by the Creative Arts Center today, located just off the Joshua Chamberlain Bridge in Brewer. The Creative Arts Center, where your only limitation is your imagination.
Here are the facts about Susan Collins and Medicaid. Susan Collins was the deciding vote to advance Donald Trump's Medicaid cuts.
Susan Collins was the deciding vote to advance the bill.
Now, thousands more Mainers are expected to lose their Medicaid coverage. Hospitals and clinics are shutting down, all to give massive tax breaks for billionaires. Look up the facts yourself and tell Susan Collins to stop voting for Trump's healthcare cuts.
Good Morning Maine on WFVX, Fox 22. From the Great Northwoods to the Rockmount Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, authorities in Penobscot County are looking into a fatal motorcycle crash that happened in Glenburn. We'll have the latest coming up. Plus, the town of Brooksville is looking to reconstruct their pier as they've received funding to cover those costs. And the Challenger Learning Center hosted an event for kids where they built and launched their very own rockets. We'll learn all about that as well. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. And as always, we thank you for joining us. For the weather on this Thursday, it will be a partly sunny day with highs right around 80 degrees. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you.